Live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 204. And I'm joined here by one of the co-owners of the Wrestlers Lab, Mr. Chris Ruiz. How's it going, sir? Good evening.
Doing well. How about you? How about you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Can't complain. Happy New Year. We're still in the
Yeah,
mix of the new year here, so it's all
totally.
getting adjusted. But here we go. We got the comments already coming in. There we go. What's going on? What's going
Hey.
on? We got everyone coming in here as they're excited as we are here to talk all things Showabunga 2 Mecca Mayhem. That will be live from the Mecca this coming February 18th. But before we get into all of that and talking about the card and all the questions I do have for you, Chris, I have to ask you the question I ask everyone that comes on. You heard the name of the podcast. It's called Respect the Craft. So when you hear that term, though, when you hear the craft, what does that mean to you?
Oh man, that's good. To me, wrestling, pro wrestling is such a beautiful escape, beautiful art form. The craft is just, and respecting the craft is just a matter of like respecting the hard work of all the talent involved. That goes up and down the line, whether it's, wrestlers, referees, film crew, photographers. Like there's so many different moving parts that go into making one tiny show possible. So, and then when you multiply that by, hundreds and thousands of promotions, indie promotions, and then, multiple mainstream, national, televised or global companies, like, pro wrestling, that's pro wrestling from grassroots all the way to corporate. But at all levels, you have to respect the hustle of all of these individuals that are involved.
Got you. No, definitely understood there. And here we go. We got the both hairstyles are on point. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Even though I do need a haircut eventually this week. Again, it's a new year, so we're still catching up. And there we
Yeah,
go.
it's
That's
looking good. It's looking good. It's a vibe for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. But so let's go into that, especially now that we're talking about that art form. For you, what was it finding that art for your own? Because I definitely have seen the amazing graphics you do and just the designs you do. What was it for you finding what represents the new vision for the lab?
It's just a constantly evolving thing. Like I don't keep us to one aesthetic. Like I like to jump around. I am a sucker for like nostalgic type stuff, obviously. So like the Ninja Turtles theme.
You don't
Um,
say.
yeah. I mean, so things like that. I've got some stuff cooking up at all times. Like even if it's not actually being applied to a upcoming event, I'm constantly thinking of ideas, show titles, the visuals that go along with those things. Because I feel like it's very important to not only to obviously have a good card and to promote it well, but like there should be like an aesthetic, thing happening where people are like it's really catching people's eyes. Because my thing is the talent that's on these cards deserves to be shown in that light, like in good graphics. Like they should have professional promo pictures so that this way they can look their absolute best no matter what show they're being plugged for.
No, definitely understood. And like I said, the imagery on it alone, when you look at just let's show this graphic right here. When you look at how the visuals are and you see just the making sure again, no graphic that you've done before looks like this. It keeps continuing, it keeps evolving. And that's
Yeah.
awesome to see. When you have a fresh look to it, it gets that intrigue. The fans want to see more. And it's like, okay, what are they gonna do next now? Like it keeps ever changing.
Yeah.
That's always
This
cool to
is
see.
the first time that I've done like an event where I just did a complete like wardrobe. I was calling it a wardrobe change in my mind.
Gotcha.
Like I was thinking about like the award shows, how the host will come out in like 20 different outfits. And I was like, well, we can manage one new set of graphics for 2024. It'll kind of like freshen things up a little bit. So I just redid the entire set. And I'm actually way happier with the way these look than the first set. So I look at
Gotcha.
the old set, I'm like, oh God, it's terrible. But yeah, no.
Hey, I got you. Definitely. Again, it's that artist eye of like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do it this way now. And let's just see.
Yeah, new year, new
Hey,
year,
there
new
you
lab.
go.
Even for the same show.
There you go. There you go. Gotta love it there. And here we go. We got our buddy Weston Kyle in the chat. Thank you guys always for the love and support. We appreciate it. And we're definitely going to be talking about that in a bit. We'll talk about fans bringing the weapons in a little bit.
Wes, Kyle, and Rocco. You got to include Rocco.
And Rocco, yes. Can't forget Rocco with those important meet and greets right there. And here we go. How's it going, Toddy? We got the hey folks in the chat right there. How's it going? How's it going? Hope all is well. So let's talk about this now. When it comes to, I know you talked about the nostalgia, but when it comes to the name Showabunga 2 here at the Mecca Mayhem there. I can imagine, especially after the last Ninja Turtles movie, it's just like, you know what? Let's go into it now.
Yeah, I had to do it. It was the fresher, I guess, what do you call it, like franchise or whatever. Yeah. Everything in my heart and soul wanted to do for 2 to be something play on Secret of the Ooze. Gotcha. But it made more sense, especially with Mecha. It all flowed too well. I was like, I gotta just go for it.
Gotcha. It definitely fits. And it's perfect. Again, it's just to be able to, promotion wise, Mecha Mayhem, it fits. So why not? Why not? Yep. But definitely, hey, that leaves you the option now for Showabunga 3. Then you can mix it up. You never know. It just keeps going. But let's start getting into this card. And I feel like, why not waste time? Let's go into this. Let's talk about the match, you guys. It just changed up a bit because it was already announced. It was confirmed what Mecha Mayhem would be. We got to see both teams officially announced here. We have the returning big game Leroy on one end here. But this match, it's already been huge. It's already getting bigger and bigger. And today, you guys announce fans bring the weapons.
Yes. Sir.
And I can only imagine your DMs of people asking what weapons
nobody kept it to DMs. Everyone just did it publicly. Like everyone just went off the wall like within a minute. You know what I mean? It was just, there was talk of like tasers and like, exploding rings, and I was just like, this is nuts.
This was maybe we should have chose something else. This is where we get it. But no, it definitely is an interesting concept, especially now that you have 10 you just have, again, a huge contest right there. You have 10 competitors in there, and then let's now add the idea of fans bringing the weapons with reason. Now, again, like the warning said earlier, no, it's still a family-friendly show. Yeah. So please keep that in mind as well to anyone that decides to bring a weapon. Also, let's be realistic. We are trying not to get anyone arrested now. Yeah. So also, please be mindful.
Yeah. I mean, I want a lot of firsts to be happening on this show, but I don't want arrests to be one of the first.
Yeah, let's not have it at the Mecca, because we've seen some craziness go down at the Mecca. So it makes sense. But here we go. Look at that. We got Anthony Gamble in the chat. He's thinking about something. He's contemplating something. Anthony Gamble, do you have an idea of a weapon to bring in? Oh man. Oh wait, yeah, Kira is gonna be there, so he definitely knows about some weapons. Do we have talent allowed to bring in a weapon of choice? Even though he definitely brings some that might be might be a little crazy. I've seen what Akira does in the squared circle. Just what he did with RSP the other day is a little scary. So
I don't know what I was thinking when I gave him the open invite to just come in and vow violence on the roster. I don't know,
That is also a thing, because this was initially announced as an open challenge, right? It's vow violence. It's anyone that steps up.
I can't even specifically say that it's an open challenge. It's literally just, oh, hey, come on in and do whatever horrible thing you have in mind. I don't know if he wanted to come to the ring and issue a challenge. I don't know if he wanted to just get somebody backstage. I'm not exactly sure what vows violence, entails, but we'll see.
That's intriguing but terrifying at the same time. Because that now means he has permission to he can get involved in this. He might just become a weapon. Who says it necessarily doesn't have to be a human weapon of sorts? Even though I did see 2 people offer children earlier. Don't offer your children as a weapon, ladies and gentlemen.
It's up to 3, by the way. It's up to 3.
It's now up to 3. I didn't think in 2024 we have to say, don't use your children as weapons, ladies and
Apparently,
gentlemen.
this is going to be a posse of children, also
Just getting
reading.
thrown around. Yeah.
Yeah,
But again, just thinking what Akira could possibly do. We saw a shotgun. He did his own open challenge. He told him he wants to face Akira. And
yeah.
now it's like we don't know what could possibly happen.
I mean, Shotgun, had a strong message. Akira has had quite a few strong rebuttals. So, but as of right now, nothing official. We're apparently going to get word from Akira specifically addressing Shotgun. He just wanted a little bit of time to come back from his tour of Japan and then take care of business once he settled in back at home.
Understood. Again, definitely the Death Fighter is taking care of business in Japan right now, so it makes sense. And oh no, it's Hotties. Ever get slammed on a pack of frozen pierogies? I cannot say I have, and I don't think I do want that. But okay. Oh, we got Jeleni said I'll take on Akira. Okay.
I mean,
Again, Akira's just gonna do whatever he wants on the 18th. So show up if you will.
yep.
We've seen what he does though. And here we go. We got the good brother Smiley in the chat. Good evening. How's it going, Smiley? Good evening. Good evening. But from there, let's now go into this. Let's talk about a championship match of sorts here, as the Wrestlers Laboratory Championship is on the line. Eel O'Neill defending against Trevor Eon here, and I'm excited for this one. Seeing
Yeah.
both what Eel has done in the square circle, seeing just the insane just run that Trevor Eon has been on, and just what both of these competitors have been for not only the lab but for the independent circuit.
Yeah.
This is going to be one that I definitely feel like people need to keep their eye on.
Eel and Trevor, I want to say this about both those men. They represent, going back to what I said earlier, evolution. They have both evolved so much over the past couple of years of their career. Trevor's been with the lab literally since the very, very beginning of year 2. So not quite the first show, but like very early on, back when we used to do free pre-shows way back a whole other lifetime ago. So Trevor has evolved and grown so much as a human being, but also as a complete package wrestler. And Eel is somebody who just has so much. I feel like there's so much mystery there. Like we've seen just barely scraping the surface of what Eel O'Neill is going to end up being as a talent on the indie scene, especially as a singles talent. You know what I mean? Like this guy, he's got to be more places, working some of the best technical wrestlers out there on the scene because he's on that list. And a lot of people don't realize it yet, but it's the truth for sure.
Oh, definitely so. And seeing not only what he's done in tag competition, in singles competition, again, the names, the list can go on and on. And it just shows it though. The work rate, just what he does when he's in that squared circle. This is definitely going to be a match. It truly is. It's a championship match for a reason. It's going to be something that you guys have to be in the
a lot of mind games, a lot of a big clash of huge personalities. For all of their differences, there are some overlaps in who Eel O'Neill and Trevor Eon are in terms of like how they approach the sport.
Definitely so. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen now with this. And again, this is a new year. That first show right there, you want to walk in and continue the reign as champion for Eel. But with Trevor Eon, I can imagine he doesn't want to start the year with a loss. Again, it's going to be a reason you guys have to get your tickets now. If you haven't already, ticket link will be in the description down below. Get them to their pre-sale goal. The goal is coming. It's getting closer and closer. Get them to it. So let's keep it going here.
John Doherty, he's the man.
All right, there we go. We got the hi Chris in the chat. We got Matt Awesome saying, what's going on, Matt? Congrats on the upcoming show. Looks like it's going to be awesome. It definitely is. Again, we're going to keep talking about it here. And look at this. We got looking forward to Big Daddy Adri versus Dixon. Definitely. We're going to be talking about that in just a second because I definitely want to touch on that as I had Big Daddy Adriana on a few months ago, actually. We talked about this. And yeah, this is one where what Billy Dixon said, it's a little interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on what Billy Dixon looks to do Chris, because Big
Yeah,
Daddy Adriana was a little taken aback by this. So Billy
yeah, yeah.
Dixon, he wants wrestling to fuck again. Excuse my
Mm.
language, anyone watching this,
Hey,
but
perfectly.
yeah, wrestling to fuck again. And what does that mean to you, Chris? Because I'm still trying to wrap my head around what Billy Dixon wants to do in the sports circle.
I'm choosing to focus more on the anti-nerd, anti-geek culture element than that particular part,
Okay,
because that's everyone's personal biz. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So overall, the message doesn't really resonate with me. I don't understand exactly why he's targeted Wrestlers Lab, just because we might like cartoons or whatever the case may be.
like what's wrong with
Um,
the nerd culture? Like I have
hey,
the
listen,
Funkos
nerd
in the back.
culture, geek culture, cartoons are awesome. Cosplay is awesome. Even D&D. I don't play D&D, but I think it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? I think a lot of cool people play D&D. So whatever this, like I said in a post at one point, this crusade that Billy is on might be short-lived, because Adriana is a very formidable competitor. She's a powerhouse. She's hungry in a way that maybe Billy might not be, because Billy's experiencing a lot of success. Billy's busy. He's got a lot on his plate. So maybe he's gonna get caught off guard by Adriana. We'll see.
And I feel like, especially with a crusade like this, it definitely is going to come into play when you think about are you focused on your match or are you focused on just this agenda here?
Yeah,
And again, with an opponent like Adriana, you have to have that mindset of just focusing on her because she, like you
right.
said, she is a powerhouse. I've seen her up close and personal how she can be in that squared circle, and it's going to be a fight. I don't know if Billy Dixon is ready for what Big Daddy brings to the ring. I know the fans are definitely looking forward to it, but we're gonna have to wait and see.
Billy's a very confident person, confident competitor, but he needs to be careful not to be overconfident. And I feel like that initial promo was just reeked of overconfidence, obviously.
Definitely so. And again, it's just I can imagine as we get closer, as we start getting closer to February 18th, maybe Billy will give us another comment. Maybe he'll give us a little more explanation of to why he's chosen this agenda and why to bring it to the Labradors. Like the fans they want to just enjoy their nerddom here. They want to enjoy
Yeah,
what they like. Like
yeah.
I don't get
Let us
it.
post let us post our Ninja Turtle gifts in peace.
Like, come on. But here we go. We got Matt Awesome saying, I might have to bring a few chanclas for that fans. See, the chancla is okay. That is an acceptable weapon right there.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
that
I'll
does
take
bring
that.
back a lot of bad memories for people that might be in the roster. Like, damn, Matt. Again, the
Yeah,
chancla.
I never got the chocolate treatment. I was good. My brother, on the other hand, oof, he got the chocolates and the belt, man.
uh, again, yeah. Let's keep it going here. So now we've talked about a few of the matches here, but I do want to get to the mindset of putting together a card like this, especially coming back now. It's a new year, putting together a return show. How has this been for you of deciding let's do this, doing this? How has that been for you in that process?
I like to try to always have a balance of, there are some certain people that anyone who's followed the lab will recognize over the course of the last 7 years as our mainstays. People like Trevor, people like Mr. Grimm, Hippie Dicky Moon is another one. Super. He needs to get a little bit more recognition because he's so good, and the match that he's going to have with Don't Die Miles is going to be incredible. But yeah, Dicky, Trevor, Grimm are all like lab OGs from year one, year two. But also at the same time, it's really important to keep things fresh. To look at, kind of keep the finger on the pulse of who's either currently doing big things or like on the cusp of doing really big things. So I think it's important to have a good mixture of those two things. And when they mix together like that, then it gets more eyes on the people that may need them. And it gives the people who are more established a sort of new playground. Like, I like to think that we're very open-minded, and the whole concept of like experimenting. If you're going to come to the lab, I want people to feel free to experiment with not only like who they are, but how they present themselves, what kind of matches they work. Like that's why I'm very big on first time matches. Like I try to avoid matches that have been, sort of done and done and done over and over again. And as much as I can, it's not always possible, but as much as possible, I like to make totally fresh encounters.
Gotcha. No, it's definitely again that separates and that makes something where after so many years you're still able to get that intrigue and get that you never know what to expect. And that's something great that you want to see something different than just the well, okay, cool. We get to see these guys that we see here or we see them there. And we see it's just like, okay, yeah, we kind of seen this pairing a few times, but getting to see something fresh, something different, that's always going to bring in the intrigue, especially from the fans. So
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
especially the Mecca being such a like a hub for obviously for New Jersey and for just like the East Coast in general. I feel like it's important to not, sort of like disregard the fact that that's true, right? Like there's a lot of people that you see at the Mecca pretty often, and I want to make sure that if you're gonna come to a lab show, you're gonna see people who you've never seen at the Mecca. You know what I mean? Like you have Trey Shaw, you have Creeps. Like these are all people that are not only Mecca debut, but like New Jersey debuts. So
And that's a good mix because now you get people to see new talent that they haven't seen before, possibly. Because
right,
unfortunately, sometimes maybe we aren't fans aren't as familiar with the full scene. They might know the tri-state area, they might know that, and then you get to see more talent. It's like, oh, now I want to do more research and I want to look up this person that I get to see for the first time or this talent, and it's like,
right.
okay, now we're expanding here. So that's awesome to
Yep.
see.
Not
So
only fans, but other promoters as well. Like my mentality
definitely.
is like if somebody's watching, paying attention, even if they're not there live, but they catch it on YouTube or whatever the case may be, they're gonna see somebody for the first time and say, "Oh man, I got to get these guys back to Jersey, or I got to get these guys back to Connecticut, or whatever." So like the bookings at the lab should benefit them in a way that doesn't end with us. It should branch them out to other places.
No, that's awesome to hear, especially again that because any promoter could be like, you know what? Yeah, this is just to make sure I get the eyes on me and my promotion. But that's awesome to see. You know what? No, I want them to be able to not only get seen here, but now that reaches to, oh, they're getting booked over here, getting brought over here, and brought back other places as well. So that's awesome. That's a great way to look at it there. And here we go, Toddy. Creeps will be a killer debut. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it because again, I will admit I'm not as familiar with Creeps so far, but I'm definitely looking forward to see what they bring on February 18th as you have the Creeps right there going head to head with the outfielders for that collaborative championship. So, could you tell us a little bit about the Creeps and what we can expect for February 18th?
Yeah, I mean, I used this like alliteration at one point in one of my posts. It was like um, something about a a tussle teaming with tenacity. So like the outfielders and creeps to me represent sort of like a very scrappy style, and obviously like Weber with those lucha influences,
Yep.
but in general that match is going to be sort of like um, I don't know, just all heart. It's all heart. It's hard hitting, and you just will see sort of like the passion in what they do. Um, I think creeps. That's going to be the thing that comes through is sort of like scrappiness, passion, and yeah, just really like giving the outfielders a run for their money. If not, possibly crowning new collaborative champions.
I can imagine that's what Irving West and Andy are trying to do there, make their an impressive showing. Especially again, we're talking about show one again for the new year. It's everyone wants to make that mark, especially coming on to Showabunga 2, getting that big win, and it could happen right there. It could be the unfortunately the end of the sword for the outfielders there. They might have to unfortunately strike out on February
Yeah.
18th,
I mean,
or they might hit a home run. You never know.
creeps aren't coming all the way from Georgia for an L. That's for sure.
There you go. Definitely so. And here we go. We got Brian Fernandez saying, got to commend Chris for bringing out all these talented wrestlers outside of the tri-state to the Mecca. There you go. There you go. We're getting to see again, a mix of talent here. You got some from the tri-state, some definitely coming from out of the tri-state here, and all mixing in right at the Mecca on February 18th. So can't wait for that.
Hey, we got Georgia, we got Indiana. I'm trying to think. We got fans coming from as far as Florida and Ohio, so things like that are super humbling. To think that people are prioritizing the lab in that way. So yeah, very very thankful.
There you go. We got Matt Awesome saying the outfields are a dope team. Had the chance to be in the ring with both of them. They definitely are. They definitely are. And seeing just the just their style that they bring, what they do, the little mix of different nuances. Again, it's a hard team to beat, but we'll definitely see what happens on February 18th. And here we go, John saying any talent that has been in the lab that surprised you that they fit in. Hmm,
Hmm.
that's an
That's a really
interesting.
really good question.
Yeah,
I feel like there are times in those, those cards subject to change moments where
yeah,
people step up to the plate. So it's not so much of like a surprise that they fit in. It's just a surprise in terms of like I may not have known much about that person, and then here they are ready for the opportunity, and they knock it out of the park. Things like that have definitely happened. I can't. I'll definitely think on it, and if anything pops to mind, I'll like interrupt
yeah,
and bring it
definitely.
back.
We'll definitely circle back to that. But that also that brings a question to mind is, and again, you don't have to answer every name. You can at least give us one. Is there names of some people that you would like to bring to the lab that you haven't had a chance to yet? But again, you don't have to
Oh,
give us the whole Rolodex. So certain things have to be kept for future events. But if you give us one name of someone that you've been wanting to bring to the lab, but it just hasn't worked out yet.
yeah. All right. I'll give you one good one. I have I have spoken to Masha a couple times, and
Okay.
it's just it's tough. She's a busy woman, so. But yeah, I definitely would love to have her. In my mind, it's long overdue, and I hope we can make it happen.
There you go. That's definitely again that fits in perfectly. Especially shout out to the good fam at the Fallout. We're seeing a lot of their influence here. So one more of the coaches making their way to Wrestlers Lab right here. Especially with that family affair of what the Wrestlers Lab and Battle Club has been as well. So it's awesome to see some more
Yeah.
collaborative effort there.
No, I love those guys. Joakim is a brother.
There you go. Shout out to them right there. So let's keep it going here. Now let's talk about this as it will be Nomi herself, Gabby Forza going head to head with Erica Lee. And this one I'm definitely looking forward to see because Erica Lee has been on a tear from the Super 8 to just killing it on the independent circuit to Gabby who's been on just a the words can't describe her rookie year has been just insane a
Yeah.
rookie year of just going head to head with some of the best. You just mentioned Masha right there. Her going head to head with her and just again for a rookie year proving to be one of those that you're gonna have to keep your eye out on in 2024.
Yeah, no, she was impossible to ignore. And just the whole package, not just her accomplishments, but just the whole vibe, the whole like gnome package. I felt like it was a perfect fit for Wrestlers Lab. And in terms of this match, I thought it was interesting to pit two like such huge fan favorites against each other, especially in a situation where Erica is trying to bounce back from a huge loss. Her first loss ever in Wrestlers Lab was when she challenged Eel for the championship at our last show, which was 7 Years of Science. So unfortunately, she came up short in that championship match. So now she's just trying to get back on track, get the ball rolling again. In her own words, she's trying to get her mojo back on February 18th. So we'll see because Gabby is super strong, has so much heart and so much grit. So I think it's going to be a really really interesting match for sure.
No, definitely so. And again, now when you think about that, with Erica Lee now having that mentality, that is a little dangerous when someone is still not finding their mojo, as she put it. It's one of those of what does she have to lose right now? It's a dangerous situation when trying to get back to that Wrestlers Lab championship. There, it's one of those where you now have to think, what is she willing to do at
Right.
Showabunga?
And
But
you know what?
again,
I'll dip you back into the past a little bit to the
ooh,
first Showabunga,
okay.
which took place at H2O. I don't remember the exact date, but it is available on IWTV. So Showabunga, the inaugural one, Erica Lee faced Bonesaw Brooks. And when you look at a match like that, which was incredibly hard hitting, um, like at points uncomfortable. So I feel like the Erica Lee that you're gonna get on February 18th at Showabunga 2 will be very reminiscent of that Erica Lee. Sort of like, in that at that point it was because how can you not be that intense facing Bonesaw Brooks? But for this one, I think it's just the motivation to bounce back from that big loss is what's going to fuel her to like be that intense.
I can definitely see that. And again, when it comes to Gabby Forza and just what she's done, I could see her now. I can imagine she's doing her work. She's doing her research. She's doing that tape study, getting ready to make her debut here. I can imagine she's bringing that savage mentality too, to be ready for what Erica Lee might throw at her
Yep.
on February 18th. So again, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you're getting those tickets because this card, top to bottom, has just been banger after banger that we're talking about. And we're not done yet. We still have some more to talk about as we're going to talk about this next. As you mentioned him earlier, Mr. Grimm, one of those OGs when it comes to the lab, going head to head with Trey Shaw here. And again, I've seen what Mr. Grimm continues. He is the hitman for hire for a reason. He does this. He does this kind of brawl, and he's going up against Trey Shaw here. And I can't expect this to be nothing less than just a brawl.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. They've both made that very clear. Grimm saying that somebody's gonna get murked on 218. Trey Shaw, on the other hand, though, like he's a young guy. He is the body transformation is crazy. The weights that this kid is putting in is it's wild. So from what I hear, and this is a good word from Trevor actually, who is close with Trey. He said that this will be one of the hardest hitting matches that you will ever see.
oof. Again, because I was doing a little bit of research and I saw what Trey's been putting in, what he does in that ring, and I'm like, okay, this might be a little bit of a harder hit for Mr. Grimm here because Mr. Grimm likes that. He wants to come in, drop a body, put him in the body bag, take it home. But
Yep.
with this, I don't think it's going to be as easy of a hit. This might be the bounty might be high on this one. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Here's the thing with Grimm though is that he does not take any competitor lightly. He goes into a match to do his job in the sense that he's gonna complete that contract, but at the same time he is very tactical. Like he understands who his opponents are, strengths, weaknesses, all that stuff, and he'll say, "Oh, I don't care. I'm gonna kick your ass or whatever." But I know he puts more thought into it than that. I know he doesn't take any competitor lightly. So he's gonna give Trey that respect, I think.
I definitely would hope so because if not, again, even giving that little bit of sense of like, oh, I got this, might come back to bite him in a match
Right.
like this. So we'll
Yeah.
have to wait and
All
see
it
what
takes is
happens.
3 seconds. All it takes, right?
That's it. That one mistake could lead to it all. But we'll see at Showabunga. But from one OG, we talk about another one when it comes to the lab. Hippie Dicky Moon going head to head with Don't Die Miles. And their name intrigues me because that usually doesn't spell well if someone might be dying when they go into the
No,
and
yeah. I mean,
it's all peace and love with Hippie Dicky Moon. But again, shout out to Hippie Dicky Moon, who I've seen for the years, like getting to see him and just continuing to evolve as well. It's great to see him still doing his thing in 2024 as well.
yeah. This is another match. It has some similarities to Erica and Gabby in
Yep.
the sense of like two crowd favorites going head to head. I think, and also another parallel I just realized is that Dicky also is coming off of a pretty heartbreaking loss. The Fortune 14 Battle Royal that Trevor won to earn this title shot. It was Dicky and Trevor in number 1 and number 2 in that battle royal,
Oof.
and
Okay.
Dicky and Trevor in the final two of that battle royal. So that was a moment that actually meant a lot to me because, like I said, they're lab OGs. They had never touched before that day. They had never faced each other at all. And for that to come down to those two, like I couldn't have asked for two better people to possibly challenge for the title. But unfortunately, Dickey came up short, and he is definitely not looking to continue a losing streak in the new year. So, but at the same time, Miles coming all the way from Indiana, they are definitely looking to make an impact. And I think both of these competitors are going to be immediately they're going to win over the crowd. Like the moment you hear Dickey's music play and he comes out, he's got his backpack, he's got the hat, like the paint, like he's just got Dickey is like a whole vibe, man. I hope people really like catch on to him because he not only a great dude, but a really, really, really great wrestler.
No, definitely so. And like I said, seeing just that vibe that's continued to be just a consensus every time you see Hippie Dicky Moon. Again, I hope in a match like this, you get to see more of what he brings to the squared circle and why, hey, give a good look out to the Hippie Dicky. So
Yes. Well, and Dickey's had often bigger opponents and very scrappy competitor and everything, but it'll be really interesting to see. It's been a while since he's been in the ring with somebody sort of equal or possibly faster, high flying, really like sort of an unpredictable and an unorthodox competitor in Don't Die Miles.
well, then that's definitely going to bring a different. I guess Hippie's going to have to adapt. Let's see what happens when a situation like that occurs on February 18th. But now, from that, let's go to this. This has been a match I've been looking forward to because it all started out with picking your poison, in a sense, picking your partner here. Who are you teaming with to go head to head here? As it will be A Game himself, Joseph Alexander, teaming with the big bad kaiju, O'Shea Edwards, taking on Robert Martyr and Angelo Carter. Now this one again, the decks are high here. This is definitely a stacked contest right here, as you're adding again Big Bad Kaiju, A Game, Poison Youth, Angelo Carter. There's a lot going on in this one.
This match could steal any show. This match could be on any card and steal the show.
Definitely could.
So, I mean, it's just I have extremely high expectations for this one. I think it's an incredible clash of styles, like a mixture of different styles. You pretty much have like four pillars. I know Martyr is sort of like a very what would be the word? Martyr's a mixture of a lot of different styles. He has a lot of different influences, and is constantly studying. So I don't want to say that anybody in this match has one particular, thing that they're good at, but O'Shea being the powerhouse that he is, A Game being the tactician, the technical wrestler that he is, Angelo being sort of like unorthodox, unpredictable, very resilient, and could probably throw a little bit of flying in there. And then Martyr, who's going to get the edge in terms of ground game between A Game and Martyr, that remains to be seen.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing that because when you think about just the grapple game between those two, what they bring to that table. And now Robert Martyr is coming into this after an insane year of even facing the likes of the legendary Minoru Suzuki.
Yep.
So if you can survive the tale of facing Minoru Suzuki, just imagine what you would do to get a victory here.
Well, that's obviously why Angelo picked him.
Yeah.
Angelo knew exactly what they were doing, And then obviously A Game, went to directly to his how do you pronounce it? Beaumaye?
The Beaumaye, yeah. The Beaumaye Fight Club there. You got to, especially when you have connections with the Beaumaye Fight Club. Yeah. It makes sense to get the big bad kaiju there. And
that was an easy one.
It makes sense, and especially when you want to get a winning team right there. But like I said, the decks are stacked on both ends because you have Robert Martyr, you have Angelo Carter, And you would think, oh, it's the big bad kaiju. But like I said, and even like you said, just resilient between both competitors on the other side of A Game and O'Shea. This is an even contest right here. It's gonna be, again, possibly who makes that first mistake. Whoever
Yep.
makes that first mistake, that's all it could come down to, and that could lead to a 1, 2, 2, 3, or possibly a submission victory as well. Like we said, that grapple game is on a whole nother level when it comes to these competitors as well.
I think this is a match that people are going to be talking about when you talk about any of these four competitors and you want to say, hey, you got to check so and so out. Like if you're recommending any of these four competitors to somebody, this will be a match that people will say you got to see that match. Even as a tag, even though it's not a singles thing, this could have just as easily been a four-way match, right? With the way that these four competitors are all climbing the ranks in indie wrestling, but it's a tag match. But even as a tag match, I feel like they're all going to shine individually so much that it's going to be something that's going to be high on their sort of like on their resume, if you will.
No, definitely so. And again, in a match like this, you still are getting to see that shine because I can imagine both teams are going to have to game plan, thinking, oh, I got this. Let me do the grapple here. I'll get in here. The big bad Kaiju is going to want to watch his spot, see when he can come in and try to dominate. And again, with Angelo Carter they're probably going to want to see when can I fly? When can I add this to it? When can I just bring something they would never expect? And with Poison Youth, I can imagine he's trying to scout. He's trying to see what little mistakes he can grab on. When can he just pick a body part? That type of mind game there. It's going to be one again, guys. If you haven't already, I've said it a billion times. I'll say it more. Make sure you get your tickets and you're in the building on February 18th because like we've talked about this whole card, it is truly going to be stacked from top to bottom. And you never know what else could happen. Again, like the saying goes, unfortunately, at times, cards subject to change, but you never know what could happen because we still don't know. Again, we're going to talk about that again. What Akira is doing. So even if that's a reason to be there, just to see what truly means to vow violence, what will happen? What will Akira do? And just be careful. Just be
Yeah.
careful around the Death Fighter Akira. Even Chris, be careful, brother. You never know.
Oh yeah.
You might just choose. Hey,
My eyes on my shoulder, right?
gotta watch your back. But before we start wrapping this up as well, Chris, there was an announcement you said you wanted to give us here. We talked about the card. So what will be opening the event? What will be that first match when it comes to Showabunga 2 Mecha Mayhem?
So many choices, right? So many solid choices for an opening match. We are gonna be going with
Ooh.
we're doing Nomi and Erica Lee opening match, right? Just start this thing hot.
Look at that is going to be again. We talked highly about this when we talked about what this means. Erica Lee coming off that loss, trying to find her mojo again. A debut here for Nomi and Gabby Forza. This is going to be a hot start indeed. So again, make sure you guys are there early. Make sure you guys are there on time because this is going to be kicking off Showabunga 2. Again, it's an early show too. I forgot to notice that right there. 3 p.m. showtime. Hey, again, you get a day full of wrestling right there. And then boom, you get to enjoy the night afterward. So there you go.
Absolutely. And if you got the kids, you get the kids to bed early still. If they got school, I don't think they have school the next day. I think it might be a holiday.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's President's Day. I could be wrong.
Yes, it is President's Day. Just check the calendar. There you go.
So,
again, I'm not saying that can happen.
Even still, oh gosh, no, please. I'm good. I'm good. I'd like to make it to the next show. Yeah.
But no, again, all jokes aside, that is going to be an insane, like we said, everything that is going on for everyone that is going to be there. If you decide to bring up, like we said, appropriate weapons. Hey, you could even bring this. I feel like this is appropriate. Bring some Vicks. Vicks might be an appropriate weapon.
They're going to need Vicks after the fact. A lot of these guys are going to need Vicks after the fact, especially if there's chocolates being thrown around.
This is true, but I do want to touch on this match a little more again, just because of looking the sides right here. You have Handsome Max in there. You have Aaron Ash, Travis Huckabee. You have the returning. This one is huge for me. The returning Big Game Leroy, officially his first match back And again, not only is it insane because it's in Mecha Mayhem, but now you've added fans bring the weapons. What a way to come back for Big Game Leroy.
So I'm gonna tell you too. I'm gonna give you some more insight into this.
Ooh,
This is a full circle moment for Leroy, because at the first Showbunga, again, like I said, available on IWTV if you want to check it out. First Showbunga, Leroy wins a big match, and Mag Zero, who at that point they were close, they were tight. Mag Zero turned on Leroy, and put him in the ground with I believe I want to say a package pile driver. Destroyed the switch or
not
tossed it out of the
destroying
ring.
the Switch.
Yep, I mean just total disregard for the switch. From that moment on, Max has bag full of Lego bricks, nice. So from that moment on, it's been a blood feud between Leroy and Max, which unfortunately Leroy has been injured and is now back for redemption. Oh, the baked goods, yeah. I saw
He's
that
throwing
earlier.
baked goods. That's
Hey,
it.
I
Aaron
mean,
Ash throwing baked goods.
at this
Uh,
point,
uh,
I'll take baked goods over the tasers and all this other
that
stuff that
is
I
true.
heard.
Wait, and he's gonna throw Big Game Leroy. How are you just gonna throw Big Game Leroy at your opponents? Damn! Don't do
That's
that to my. Damn, that's my friend right there, Aaron. I've had Aaron on the podcast. I thought we were cool. Don't do that to my friend. Ah,
no,
hold on. I might want to just play neutral again because I've seen
yeah,
what
yeah,
Aaron Ash can do. So again, no, I'm both sides here. Hopefully, everyone wins.
yeah. Well,
We'll
yeah.
keep it at that, so that way I don't have to feel that lariat because I've seen what Aaron Ash can do with a lariat. But no, definitely to see that would be cool to see now that full circle moment. I can imagine Big Game Leroy is gonna have Mag Zero in his eyes right there, and just again you see the just the size of these teams there because you have just there's a lot going on in this. You have MV Young in there, you have Abs, you have Pretty Boy Smooth in there. There's a lot. There's a lot to go when it comes to this. But also, I guess, hey, why not also announce with that being the first that huge fans bring the weapons match right there? I'm gonna announce this right here as well. We're gonna be talking to the returning Big Game Leroy next Wednesday at the same time. This time right here, 7 p.m. We're going to be talking about Big Game Leroy. So we'll hear his thoughts going into this huge Mecha Mayhem match at Showabunga 2.
That's awesome.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. We got the chat going wild here. Uh, look at this. Grim better hide his kids during this match. Not hiding the kids. We don't want to do that now. Look at this. Debut of amateur wrestler Reese Hayes at the Mecca. Oh, that is
880,
true. There you
yeah.
go.
880 champion. If you haven't checked out 880 Wrestling on YouTube, definitely do. That they're coming out of T2T Pittsburgh, which is
Ooh, okay.
MV Young School.
Yep.
So 880 Wrestling they do a weekly show almost every single Thursday. It's a great platform for independent wrestling right now, and Reese at this moment is the 880 Wrestling champion.
There you go again, guys. This is the best thing too. Getting to see a show like this, you start again seeing names that maybe again you aren't familiar with here in the tri-state. Start learning, start getting to see, and get accustomed to some new faces. Because again, this might be what we see coming into 2024 a lot more. So that's awesome. But as we start wrapping this up, Chris, I do want to ask you this, especially when it comes to the Wrestlers Lab, and 7 years in for you, what has been that process of keeping things flowing, seeing the changes that have happened, seeing all this for you? How has that been creative wise, just keeping everything afloat and keeping it fresh as you will?
Yeah, I mean it's been a lot of ebb and flow. We haven't always been consistent, so there's been a lot of breaks. So I'll never say like Lab has been doing it 7 years, tons of shows. Like we've had our little moments where we've had breaks in between.
No.
But life always comes first, and you got to be able to have your head on straight and your life straight, and then you can focus on sort of your art and your passion. And Lab is a deep passion for me. So I'm happy to be back at it, and I'm back at it. Largely or almost entirely thanks to the help of my brother. So I want to shout out Nick Ruiz. I think he's watching right now. But yeah, without my brother's help, we wouldn't be where we are right now. and also without the help of all the sponsors that we've got. And I wish I could just like rifle off every single name, but there are quite a few of them. So I will probably on Twitter do another round of tweets very soon. Twitter/X. I'm not calling it X, but
I
I'll do
always say
another round.
whatever you want to call it. When I do the
Yeah.
plug, I always say Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's there.
But yeah, pay attention when we see graphics. Please pay attention to the sponsors attached to all of these incredible talents, because these people are super generous. They're so passionate about indie wrestling. They want to help. They want to see these people represented, and they're happy to have their names attached, obviously. But I think it comes more from the heart, and it means a lot to us for sure.
Gotcha. No, definitely. Again, thank you to all the sponsors there. This is one of the big parts of independent wrestling. You have that love and support from the community that continue to want to see shows like this produced and continue to flow like this show right here with Showabunga 2. But Chris, before I do let you go, I do want to ask one final thing, and that is for Wrestlers Lab, what is the end goal, man?
Honestly, the end goal is to just continue being able to do it. Continue to be a platform for independent wrestlers, for crew members, referees, like everybody that makes each of these shows happen, and has made all of these shows happen over the past 7 years. I want the lab to be sort of like a place where they always remember fondly, like no matter how far they go, they have fond memories of their experiences when they worked here. And also a little bit more of like I guess like a selfish goal is just in terms of like, I want lab to be seen in a new light starting this year. I want people to understand that we are putting out some of the best content, the best matches. And I think you could put this card, 7 Years of Science, and numerous other lab cards up against almost any other independent promotion, and it would be like, whoa, I should have been checking this out a long time ago, So that's my thing. I just want people to understand the the how deep the well of talent is at the lab.
Oh, got you. That's perfect. And again, I'm looking forward to see what not only Showabunga 2, but again, the year for Wrestlers Lab and for you guys. So can't wait to see what happens. But guys, if you haven't already, make sure you're following the lab on all their social media there. Follow them on Instagram right there at Wrestlers Lab. Follow them on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Follow them there at Wrestlers Lab. Also, go follow Chris on his socials right there so you can stay up to date with all things Wrestlers Lab, and also his amazing designs. Again, if you're in need of a logo or anything like that as well, go hit him up as well. Okay,
Thank you.
Chris Ruiz right there. Follow him on Twitter, X, again, whatever you want to call it, at OK Chris Ruiz right there. Before I let you go, I do want to talk about that. When it comes to that side of things as well, designing and all that, what keeps that passion going as well? Because I can imagine the mixture of things, getting to have that eye and that art and that keen for art has to be something.
Yeah, I think that's something that I just sort of like stumbled into, honestly. Like I play around with it mostly for myself, but then I realized that there was a need. Like sometimes people need graphics, like fast turnaround. But you know what? I'll be the first to like recommend somebody else besides myself. Like if I feel like it's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, I'll say like, go hit up JCP. Like he's like way better than me at that. Go hit up Brian F. Like Brian F. Pro. Sorry, the gift.
Shout out to Brian. Yeah, definitely.
He's incredible. I mean, the sheer volume of work that Brian is doing is just like it's tough to match right now. So but yeah, my little sort of like rinky dink operation, I will like I'll happily do some logos for people if they want them. But yeah, it's just sort of like a little side gig that I enjoy doing, to also brush up, keep my skills fresh for the lab pretty much.
Oh, gotcha, definitely. And again, hey, like I said, the visuals, you see the amazing artwork there, just looking at the graphics and just looking at what you're doing. So definitely, it's hey, keeping them fresh and keeping that everything working out. It works out. So that's awesome.
Appreciate it.
But Chris, thank you again for joining us here. To everyone watching, please, like I said, links will be in the description down below to follow the lab, get your tickets, and be there February 18th. And to everyone watching, don't forget to always be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Thank you all so much.